welcome to another episode of CNG Railways with me, Carburetor. Today, I am going to be looking at the Eureka. You can see her right over there, but I want to swap her out. I've already got her named. I've already got her all set up. I've already got her making steam, but I need to swap her out from Betsy. So let's get Betsy put into one of her sidings. I have the sidings set up right over here. I hope those are going to be long enough to store engines. Sorry. Engines like Betsy here should be no problem. But Betsy's like Eureka. Eureka's pretty big. Oh, I had that brake on. Well, I had that brake on. I may have derailed once or twice. Stuck between signs there. I'm running out of steam pressure, so I need to do this pretty quick. I don't want to relight the fire, mainly because it takes so dang long, but also because it's just kind of unnecessary. I'm going to need to hop out here to flick the switch. Alright, and then this should... I actually want to put this in this siding. So I wanted to go Porter, Porter 2, all the way down. So Eureka's, because she's actually the last train, will go in the last slot. This might become a pain if they introduce more if they introduce new trains in the future, because well, she won't. We'll have to make room, let's just say. I will say this, my initial impressions with Eureka are less than stellar. She kind of... trying to think of the right word. Something that, you know, I don't really want to be too harsh on her, because doing the research that I have, or doing with the experience that I have, it sounds like the Eureka is more of a at speed passenger. Why am I missing cars? Wonder why that coupling broke. No idea. So I'll have to go back and recover some cars. That'll be interesting, because I'll get to see how ghosting in the Eureka works, because that's a little bit interesting of a experience, to say the least. All right, so brake off, reverser reversed, throttle. That's our water right there. We should have plenty of firewood, at least. That's kind of nice. This will be nice for going out to the oil field, the refinery, and the ironworks, because those are going to be more of flat ground, where I can really just get really flat, straight track and just sort of... Oh, I need to put a coupler in here, don't I? One thing I will say is the Porter is very overpowered. The Porter does 10 miles an hour empty. It does 9.8 miles fully loaded. So The Porter is a little OP of a locomotive just because of the fact that you can do so much with it. It doesn't need much to just dominate its field. I can't go too far back because that switch back there is flipped. I may have taken the Eureka on a bit of a test drive before I invited you guys on. Probably have turned that brake off. That would probably speed things up. The brakes on these cars work when they want to. They don't work when they want to. It's kind of weird, kind of frustrating. All right. So with 12 cars, let's see how the Eureka does. I don't exactly have the best hope for her, but I'm hoping that I can use her to just sort of grind out cordwood. That's what I've been doing lately, is just grinding out cordwood. Her takeoff, at least compared to the Porter, is abysmal. The Porter would already be like at speed by now. Why did those couplings break? And that's going to cause those to derail. Why am I breaking couplings? This happens sometimes for some reason when you log on and off on this game or it goes through an update. I've found it more when it goes through an update. I wouldn't be surprised if this game just went through an update, so... Yeah, see, multiple couplings are broken there. What in the hell? Half this video is just going to be me trying to set up my train. Yeah, you can see they even separated right there, so I don't know what's going on there. All right, to prevent derailing, I'm going to flip this switch while I'm over here. This game is just, it still astounds me how it's done so much with so little. Like, you can definitely tell, like, it's the same tree over and over and over again, yet somehow it just looks so beautiful. I don't know. I hope that YouTube doesn't, like, majorly decompress this to the point where it's just ugly, because this game is just, it's beautiful. All right. Take, what is it, like 16? Turn the generator on, maybe. I know the generator, I think the generator just makes electricity for like the lights or whatever. I don't know. That doesn't seem like all of the cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm missing a couple. What the heck is going on? Yeah, see, those all separated. What is going on? So I not decided to name this ship or this train Cecilia. That's both after my sister and my great grandmother. It sounded like a nice name. I like it. All right, so the ninth car we need to make sure is coupled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Kind of glad I flipped that switch now, because then now I can just let it run into it and just set and reset the hitch pins. This is what I'm doing instead of sleeping. Just FYI. I didn't think it would take this long. I didn't think it would be this much of a pain. I can't wait until I have just that entire lineup over there full of trains. We still have... So I kind of skipped ahead. I want to get the Porter 2. The Porter, believe it or not, the Porter is probably... I don't know why, but this is the best train in-game. Porter 2, I kind of really want, just because it's supposed to be really, really nice. Still, it's a little bit more stable. You know how much the Porter shakes. That one does it less. Climax, I want, definitely. I want all of these. These are so cool. Wow, they really went around. So while we're catching up, I figured I'd go over some of the names. So I definitely like the Betsy for this name, but I want to get a headlight. So I'm planning on the next purchase I make, I want to delete my Betsy and get a Betsy with a light on it. The next one I want to get is for the other Porter. I want to name her Debbie. I don't know why. I like the name Debbie. Just sort of works very well. This one, I have no idea what I'm going to call her. Him, her, whatever. I'm going to need to think of names. It's definitely a very interesting ship. The Hessler here. I'm going to need to just think of names because these are so unique. Those are going to be the lines out to the oil field and then the ironworks and the refinery. I will say this, we are going at a decent clip, so once the Eureka gets going, once Cecilia gets going, she goes at a decent clip at least. And I will say this, she stops really well. The brakes on this are great. The Porters are a little worse for wear. That coupler doesn't look like it's all the way in either. Let's get this girl up to the lumber mill. That's what I got there. I got 12 cars for cordwood. I love that whistle. I love the detail they put in these locomotives. This looks like a real locomotive. So a little bit about why this locomotive is not as powerful as the Porter. So for obvious reasons, a steam locomotive works off of torque. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the basics of steam locomotives. So just from me looking at it, I would say these guys have the same diameter piston, or at least similar. I have not looked these up. I haven't looked up actual stats. But if they have the same diameter piston, but this has larger wheels, that would account for why this guy goes faster, but he has less power. If you put larger wheels on your car, you won't be able to go. You'll be able to go a lot faster, just based off of RPMs. But it'll take a lot more power to get up to there because you have to overcome the additional torque that it takes just to roll. And I'm not talking about like the weight of the wheel, but you actually have to put more force forward to roll. This will be the fastest I've ever gone through here. So I hope nothing bad happens. I probably should have saved. Alright, let's open her back up. Still really wish they had a speedometer on here. We're losing fire. Fuel is all burnt out. Let's see if we can get there before we run out of steam. These locomotives are so beautiful. I still love the fact they have camshafts down there. They had no reason to put this much detail into these locomotives. This is absolutely beautiful. I love how this turns on and off with the compressor also. See how you now have it going out? That's where you get your brake pressure from also. I thought the generator was supposed to do something, but it doesn't really. We are losing air brake pressure there, though. But while we're on a straight like this, I don't think it really matters. As far as I can tell, the cylinder cocks don't really do anything. I would think that they would be kind of like running no muffler on your car, so you might get a little bit better performance out of it, but I just don't know. I do love how much this rope bounces around. But it goes straight as soon as you pull it, so that is kind of true to physics. When you apply a force to it, it would go straight. Fire temperature and water level's going really far down, but that would make sense, I guess, since I'm basically going full reg. Let's see how it handles the hill into here. I had to slow down there just a little bit so that we didn't fly through any of these turns too fast. But you can tell, I mean, this thing is struggling to get up this hill. But it did manage to get up, So that's the important part. That's at least, I'm not even gonna, I had a bad joke there, but let's say it. Alright, get it in line for filling up the water. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get her loaded, and you'll join me up after I'm done. Alright, so I'm all loaded up, and I will say this, the Eureka is a lot more difficult to get lined up. She kind of takes a while to get out of the hole, and she kind of takes a while to get stopped. I thought she had better brakes, and she probably does in the Porter, at least coming from full steam to a stop, but when you're just shunting around like this, oh boy. Alright, slow her down here. While I was poking around, I did do some digging, and believe it or not, this is a real live steam train. There is a gentleman by the name of Dan Markov who purchased the engine and restored it, and it's now based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. I don't know who the current owner is. It is still Dan Markov, at least according to Wikipedia. It was made by Baldwin Locomotive Works and was sold to the Eureka and Central Pacific in Palisade. I don't know. You're gonna have to read it off of Wikipedia. There is a YouTube video. I have actually seen this locomotive before on YouTube videos, but I hadn't made the connection until I looked it up. So yeah, sometimes ignorance is rather blissful. Ooh, we are... Take the brake off. Let her coast for a little bit. Throw some firewood in. Okay, so she has a max firewood of 70, whereas the Porter has a max firewood of 50. I don't want to pick up too much speed going into this turn. This turn is a little tight. I was going to do a race between the Porter and this, but this video is so long now I kind of don't, just because I don't really think we're going to have the time. Alright, let's open her up. I will say she was a thirsty girl. I got her up to less than 4,000 in the time it took me to load a car. So, filling this girl up with water is going to take a while. You can hear her slowing down there. I'm trying to conserve water by keeping the regulator a little low, but it's difficult. So yeah, she does not have the best... She's kind of a pig when it comes to her water. I hope this switch is set. It is, I can already see it, but that would have sucked if it wasn't. If I could make like one recommendation to this company, it's to get sprung switches. Like I can't stand going over a switch like that and it derailing the locomotive. Like I don't think that would happen in real life. Most of them are sprung. Don't get me wrong, a flip switch can still derail a locomotive. I'm not trying to say that. But going over a switch like that normally wouldn't derail you. I think they're doing it to just try and get people to actually like interact with the switches. So you can't just leave them set up and just let them run. You have to actually get out and look. This is where we linked up with those other cars. I kind of need to go through and straighten out this track in here a little bit. It's a little janky in spots. I've redone this portion of tracks probably a half dozen times. It actually used to be out over here, and then I cut it back a little bit to try and conserve time, which doesn't really make much sense considering that it takes... I probably have 2 or 3 hours in a laying track when it'll save me maybe half a second per trip. So I'd have to make a lot of trips for it to make up. It hasn't used that much water actually now. I must have just been low when I took off. It's used less than 500 water, which granted the Porter doesn't have that much water on it, period, but... Alright, I'm gonna try and get her... Oop, shit. I will say this, the Porter is a little bit easier to manage. Alright, I want her going at just like kind of like a slow steam like that. It's kind of janky, a little, kind of bugging. She is definitely a beautiful locomotive, though. She is absolutely gorgeous. I like the CNG railway. That just, it makes me nice to know that I was able to come up with that, because I don't come up with too many things. Alright. This is so overpowered also. This function right here of just being able to roll past. Last car. Eureka definitely gets some speed. Gotta try and get up to the front now before she drives away. So 15% is too much. Probably go with 12% in the future, let's say. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my very first look at Eureka. I do intend on coming back to her and doing a race between her and Porter. I'm thinking start out at the depot, and you have to make a full run. I'll start first with Bear Locomotive, which I think is going to go 100% to Eureka. Just Bear Locomotive, nothing out. It has to go all the way to the lumber camp, around the lumber camp, and back down. Then I think I'm going to do a train of empty cars, which I think can go either way really, and then I'm going to do a train of full cars. And the full cars, I actually have my money on the porter because the porter just has that get out of the hole torque and being able to just get moving very, very quickly. So I think that's going to lend itself to the Porter, while it might hinder the Eureka because by the time the Eureka gets up to speed, the Porter will be already halfway there. But anyway, take care, stay safe, and I will see you all next time.